This is Family Electric Ghost, and we're live on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch channels with Ikisha Hugee. Is that how you say your last name? Is it Hugee?
It's Hugee, but it's okay.
Hugee. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, so we've got your link there, Heru Tax Services. So that's something you're doing for the tax season, right?
Yes, Hero Tax Services. That's my new family owned and operated company that I started for this season. This is my first year by myself in business. Previously, I was in business with other people.
Well, that's cool. It's always good to be in your own business. We're as a podcaster and musician, we do our own business here. This is our own thing going on, and we do have to mention one of our sponsors. If you notice, is like you can listen to us on Newsly. You see the little icon up there, and also if you get use coupon code Ghost, you get 1 month free premium subscription, so you can stop scrolling and start listening. This podcast is on Newsly, and will be on Newsly shortly after we're off the air.
Amazing.
So other we like to do is just is chat. We were chatting on another app called Wisdom, and then we
Hmm.
decided that maybe we should have we did it like another show like on Wisdom before, and now we're on my typical. This is my normal show, my normal Fam Electric Ghost podcast, and this will be on Spotify video podcast and Apple and like 10 other platforms. So
Hmm.
thank you for being on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great this Sunday morning. I woke up. Well, yesterday I was almost sleep all day. So I woke up around 12. I prayed for like 3 hours, lay down, went back to sleep. I woke up at like 6:30 and I prayed some more and I just went to clean up my house. And I just really been in like a good spirit lately. Cause a lot of things of turning around because I'm understanding more about life and why things happen the way they happen. So I don't know. I just been really in a good spirit. I don't.
Well, that's cool. That's I think it's good to know how to handle things that are going on in your life. Having skill sets to be able to handle what comes at you. As I'm 55 and I turned 55 this year, and
Mhm.
a lot of people dread turning the big 50. And then now I'm 555, and I'm like, I was like, you can't really worry about it. The one thing I noticed is like as I get more gray and I get
Mhm.
less hair, I get more respect. So it's like that's actually good,
I
So
mean,
I
with
just
that,
take it as it comes. It's like that's
yeah.
okay.
I mean, with that comes wisdom. So I can't wait till I hit 55. I mean,
Well, yeah, I
it's
could I could do without my arthritis.
all right. Yeah, you have those certain problems when you get to that age. That's why I'm working on now, like to get my health together. Cause I like to eat. That's my new addiction, food. So I'll eat, and then sit around. I think I done gained about 10 pounds. So I'm like telling myself every day, okay, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go walk at least 2 miles, but I don't never do it. I don't never do it.
I
I,
actually, I actually, I'm a type two. I'm a type two diabetic. So when I was like
oh,
28, I end up getting like adult type two diabetes. I try to walk 2-3 miles a day, and luckily I live in New Hampshire. I live like in a neighborhood that's like a
mhm,
cul-de-sac, so it's like a natural circle. So I
mhm,
don't have to be on the main road. And so
mhm,
even if I do, like we have really good sidewalks here. So I could walk the sidewalk, but it's getting wintertime. So I just walk my neighborhood, and then I actually, because it's so cold, I got like heater socks and
mhm.
heated gloves, actually battery operated socks and battery operated gloves. Because like if you want to keep on walking, I like to walk outside. I don't like using like a Nordic track.
Mhm.
I like to go. Actually, I like to get the air. So I actually
Right.
got that stuff. So I can keep on going all winter. And like so, no matter what, I got my boots. I got my LL Beam boots, and I got my heater socks and like my heater gloves. So go out looking like 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 I'm from the Arctic Circle or something. But like okay. You know,
I know, right? It's, like I say, I take everything one day at a time. So eventually, I used to walk every day. I used to walk up the highway, um,
mhm.
a highway called Shreveport Highway. I will walk every day back and forth. People got to know who I was, and then when I had to change locations, and I think it's more so where I'm at now. I, you know, I didn't kind of lost my motivation to want to just do it. So every day, life is just a process. So I'll get back, into the swing of things. Now I'm just preparing for the new tax season. So I'm getting the education, I'm doing the marketing, I'm decorating my office, so I just take things one day at a time, and just try not to overwork myself because when you're really doing it by yourself, you don't want to burn yourself out.
Yeah, I was very. I was trying not to burn myself out, but I do. I just found a new way to actually get side income on this podcast thing. I actually linked up
Mhm.
with this company came to me called Podmatch, and they
Mhm.
actually. I said, "What's the pitch?" Right? Because people come to me with pitches all the time. And I said, "Well, you can stay on Anchor FM, you can stay on StreamYard, you can stay on Wisdom. We just find you guests, and when we you create a
Yeah.
profile, and we're like a Tinder for podcasters. So you create a profile and you matches, and so every day, three, four times a day,
Yeah.
they find me matches based on my podcast, and then they actually have like a setup where they give you a guest profile, right? And the guest profile will have their
Mhm.
picture, will have all the URLs that they use, it will have a bio, it will have and like example like top 10 questions they should be asked and examples of when they've been on other podcasts so you can actually review them as a guest. And once you decide you like or they like you, they hit the button as match and then you get your matches like Tinder, but you're getting podcast
Mhm.
matches. And then if
Yeah.
you select them, it'll tell you we pay one times commission, two times commission, up to 10 times commission. And you actually get guests that pay you to be on your show. And since I started doing it,
Okay.
I jumped from 4 guests a month to like 12 guests a month that actually pay me.
Wow. And around I was thinking about starting back my podcast because at one point, excuse the verbiage, I had pussy podcasts. And it wasn't about us, yeah, excuse the verbiage. It wasn't about us just talking about our vaginas. It was basically talking about everything woman, like everything we go through, and then putting jokes and laughing
A
about
female
certain
podcast.
things. Yeah, so I've been talking with a couple of girls
Was it like
about
kind of like a vagina monologue? Was it like the vagina
exact
monologue? Yeah, yeah.
exactly. That's what it was like. It was kind of like vagina monologues, but I called it pussy podcast, and it was basic about how we own everything about us. And I've been talking with a few girls and trying to get them together to do a meeting, because pretty much all my pages are monetized now at this point. um I have a larger
Yeah.
fan base, so I can start it back where we get back to talking about those sensitive topics that a lot of people don't want us to discuss for whatever reason. But you know a lot of women um are really uneducated about who they are and their rights and their position, and and just having that open conversation where we put laughter with it, at the same time we're a little ratchet with it, but we make jokes, will inform a lot of people about certain decisions that we make in life, because I know I made horrible decisions, and I would just like to
Yeah, I mean,
share.
yeah, I think that's a cool thing because I think I think there's so much diversity in
Uh-huh.
podcasting today, right? There's a lot of people. I was talking to some people and they say, yeah, whether you have female centered podcast, like older men, black men,
Hmm.
guys who are athletes, guys who people who are mentor, who are who are shamans. I actually talked to like 4 shamans in a row. in the
You
last
did.
couple of weeks. There were people like, and I'm like, I never talked to a shaman before, but they actually they matched with me on the service. I'm like, okay, well, like that's in education. So I started talking to CEOs. I've talked to like CFOs. I've talked to like SEO consultants, film directors, all different types of people. And the initial podcast was only about emerging independent artists with a focus also on female singer songwriters that I thought didn't get enough attention. And that's
Yeah.
what I've been doing since 2016. But in 2020, things started shifting where that just interviewing musicians wasn't giving me enough people coming in. The whole podcast
Mhm.
market started shifting where people started doing more like entertainment and opening up to other types of guests. And even other podcasters, I talked to this guy on the Gentleman's podcast. He's a black gentleman, and he was only doing like men. And then
Mhm.
suddenly he wasn't getting enough numbers. So he's actually interviewing female entrepreneurs, and he still calls it the Gentleman's Podcast. But
Mhm.
he actually has opened up his guest list where it wasn't just all men anymore. He had to switch. So
Yeah. I
that's the way
mean,
the market is now, at least for the
the
podcast. I mean, you might be successful with the niche, but
Yeah, but diversity is everything. You need diversity. On my podcast, and I'm opening it up for all diverse women to come on there. I'm opening it up for men to come in and give their point of view, because I did have a podcast show where I had a particular guy who gave his point of view about how men view modern women and how men would like for their women to be, but you know if you're optimistic and you're open and you're understanding how this world is going, it's not like how it was when our grandmothers were here, or when our moms were on the dating scene. It's really evolving into some other things. And we teach our people, and we teach people, period, to be for other people, when a lot of times people are for themselves, and a lot of people lose themselves doing other than what they're supposed to do. So I mean, that's why I said diversity is pretty much everything. And I believe that we can't always continue to be one-sided about a situation. We have to be able to hear other people point of views, and
yeah.
just really follow the direction. And I mean, I
Well,
follow God, just
yeah. Yeah, well,
yeah.
I have a problem with some people who, they say they follow God, but then they are trying to like tell women that they should be like, Ozzy and Harriet. They got to go back to like Jackie Gleason. They're going
Yes.
back. It's like, yeah, it's like to me, I don't think Jesus meant that everybody should be like barefoot and pregnant, right? I don't think he meant that
Yes.
everything should be like Leave It to Beaver or watching like Jackie Gleason show,
That
and
don't work for everybody.
it's saying to the moon, Alice is like, no, that don't work.
Yeah, I mean, and that lifestyle, it doesn't work for everybody, because it goes back to how the person was actually raised. And
Mhm.
sometimes that requires a person to make a massive change, but a person can only do so much within a time span. So if you're not really a patient person, where it might take this person something that took you 2 years to get, it might take this person 30 years to get, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to count that person out and not see what that person can be in the end, because of what you want and how you want it right now. So me, I personally, I stepped back from a lot of people, and I had to get to into the perspective of just working on Ikisha and focusing on Ikisha, because when I get to where God wants me to be or requires me to be, I think at that point in time I will have a little more patience to deal with somebody and where they're at and where their struggle at. So now I no longer force like relationships with people. I let people be them, have themselves. And the only thing I ask in that same process is to allow me to be me, have my space, and figure me out. But I view us as being like planets. You can get with the wrong planet and you guys can collide and have a big bang. So that's where the discernment comes in of,
Yeah,
okay, well, I'm not going to invite you solely in my space right now. But I see you, you know, and I'm gonna continue to keep working over here while you work over there, and then maybe one day we might be able to communicate properly. But I see you. I have nothing bad to say about you. Great job.
Yeah.
Keep up the work. That's where I'm at in life.
I think a lot of men today have to stop being stuck in that Ozzy and Harriet Leave It to Beaver world, because
Yeah.
the thing is, like, I was talking to somebody on Wisdom, right?
Hmm.
And then I had to stop talking to him because he kind of ticked me off. Because right off the bat, he started going about like, "Oh, I don't like modern women, and they're all these CEOs, and they make me intimidated." And then he went on to say other people made him intimidated. I said, you know what? That's not a problem with her. That's a problem with you.
Yes.
Because I've met tons of like CEOs that are women and CFOs, and I don't care. Like I don't get intimidated because like I know what I'm doing, right?
Hmm.
So it's like to me, it's like you can go get yours. I have a daughter who's 20. She's going to be CEO of her own business. She's going to be her own. She's going to school for art directing. She's in basically a residency, and she's going to go to University of Pennsylvania to get more certificates, and she's going to have her own business. And
Hmm.
she's planned. Said, "Dad, I'm going to make more money than you." I said, "That's fine. That's what I want you to do. You want my money. I want to be an executive and kick ass." It's like, why not? Right? And my wife is a playwright and she does plays and she's a motivational speaker. I don't stop her from doing whatever she wants to do. She can go do whatever she wants to do.
Exactly.
Right now, she's sick with cancer, so she can't do that. But when she gets back on her feet, it's like I'm not going to tell her you got to make my dinner so she can't go out and do a mentor tour. Like, no, I know how to cook. So you need to be more evolved, right? I don't gotta. You just be telling your woman you gotta stay home, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. It's like what? That's your problem. That's the guy's
No,
problem.
and it,
It's not her.
me, I don't. Yeah. Me, I don't have a problem with talking about like I dealt in a past relationship where I'm on my ditty. I'm doing what I need to do to take care of my family. I got out here, I went to this tax game. I'm dealing with people that, in the business world, you're gonna deal with people you don't like, but it's not even about them, it's about the money, the end game, the goal. And I dealt with, a particular guy that had a problem with everything, and then his problems wasn't even your problems, it's really his problems, and the person he need to go talk to, he talking to you about the person. I'm like, well, I don't have nothing to do with that, it ain't my company. You need to go to that person to figure out why that person didn't put you in the game, and they can tell you exactly to your face, what the issue was. But we're dating, we're not, we're not married, we don't have any, we don't have nothing together, we're not supposed to have nothing together while we're dating. You supposed to be, you're close to 40, so you're supposed to have your own thing going on, your own money, pretty much your own life, until you decide to get on one knee and make me your wife, if that's what you're choosing to do. But if you're not choosing to do that, then don't come to me about your personal grown men problems and why you don't know how to get money. That's not my problem. I have my own problems. So a lot of times these men slash, n- boys, they want all the perks of a marriage without actually giving the marriage, and they get it
Yeah.
confused. Well, if you don't do A, B, C, and D, then how do I know that you are a wife? Well, you're not doing A, B, C, and D. How do you know I feel like being bothered with you? So it's kind of like you should be thankful that I'm a man and I'm looking at you when they have all these fishes in the sea. And I have grown to be like, well, you know what? Go catch them fishes. Let me be.
Yeah,
Cause
yeah. Well, the whole thing is like it's like you're not just God's gift to women just because you show up at the
no,
door, right? And the thing
no,
is, like, the problem is a lot of men they feel like, oh, women. The thing is, like, women have a lot of choices, right? They can be independent. They can not be
yeah,
with a man at all. where
Right.
they could have a different lifestyle, right? They could decide
Right.
to do other things, and and they don't have to have some guy, especially a guy that's not evolved, that's nowhere near in the class. This is my whole thing. What
Right.
people got to understand, that everything's about class and about like status in society. I was a sociology major, right? A lot of people don't get
Mhm.
it, right? Like if you're dealing with a woman who's a business person, right? And you're
Mhm.
nowhere near being a business person, right? You're not. You're like okay, it's okay that you could be a blue collar guy, but you can't
Mhm.
come to a woman who's like an executive or a CFO or a business owner and expect her to do that Ozzy and Harriet thing. That ain't gonna
Mm-mm.
fly, right? So
Mm-mm.
you got to understand, like if you're talking to her, you got to have the class to talk to her and not try to come with something where like, you're not even in the same zone, right? So
Mm-mm.
you need like if you guys are going to be together, she's got to either accept that you're not in the same zone, and then you've got to have some courtesy, have some empathy, and you got to have some common sense to not think
Yeah.
that you're somehow the biggest gift in the world to her. Like why she could find some guy from another country. Like this isn't the only. This is a global world. This is global dating. Your hood is
Yes.
not the only place she could look, right? And maybe you think that, and that's why you think you're a big deal, but you ain't.
Right.
You know, that's the way I see it.
And and yeah, I have a few guys from other countries that hit me up and they do things for me just on the muscle and I appreciate it. But right now I'm just kind of like focused on getting my business up and running and having a successful year and then looking to expand because I have people who want to help me expand. So right now, like I said, I used to be married. Like I was married for close to 7 years. I tried the marriage thing. I did it already. That's not a
Mhm.
priority for me right now. Right now, it's just that I want to do something for myself as far as completing something and being successful. That's where I'm at. You know, society tries to teach us, they try to tell us about pair bonding, being with somebody. That's a must. That's the only way that you survive. But I read about people every day that survive other ways other than being with somebody that's close to millionaires.
Yeah.
No, they're not broadcasting their bank accounts for the world to see like Oprah Winfrey and, of that nature, but they got Oprah Winfrey money. So
Mhm.
I I like I said, I just take things one day at a time and I just look at it like a lot of my failures is gonna be the reason why I'm gonna have so much success. Because I've
Well, yeah.
went through I went through situations, I dealt with people, I went outside of my comfort zone and tried it and I'm like, okay, this is not for me, and people just have to accept that people are going to be who they are. Nobody is not going to live their life like how you live your life. And if you're happy with your life, that's all that matters. So, what if somebody else decides to do for
Yeah.
themselves, it shouldn't bother you. It shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, the way the world is like pair bonding or being married. That's not exactly for everybody, and
No.
you got to right be a lot of times we've been married over 20 years, and I kind of came into it kind of the old fashioned way. I found my soulmate, and like that doesn't always happen. Not
Mhm.
everybody's going to find their soulmate. It just won't work. It don't work. Sometimes you find
Mm-mm.
people that you can be with, or you find people where it doesn't last forever. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just don't have that, and sometimes there are other priorities in your life, and you just got to find things that make you feel good as a person. What I feel is when usually a person will show up in your life when you're actually ready to receive them, right?
Right.
That's why, like, if you
Exactly.
go around pining for it or trying to, if you get yourself in order, then things will happen. Everything I've
Right.
done with my work and my business and my podcast, all the stuff I'm doing today, the fact that I've got I've got sponsors and I've got, I'm gigging now. I actually did a live concert on Friday. I got another one next Friday. I'm actually touring with a company called Spins Live. I'm able to do shows from home because
Mhm.
I'm kind of an alternative type of person. So I said I used to do shows in 2016, 2017. I go to Boston, I go to New York, had to have a roadie, had to have a U-Haul, had to spend a bunch of money, and then after like go after the management and make sure they pay me for the tips and do all the crap. And I was like, you know what? I got sick of that. I said, I'm going to do podcast. I'm going to record. I'm going to work with other artists. I'm going to be like what the Beatles road, and they just recorded. They became a recording only band. Right, that's
Mhm.
what a lot of people didn't realize. Like, but they actually stopped touring. They said we couldn't handle it. They didn't like it. So I decided, well, I'm not going to tour like that. I'm actually going to use online. And I found a company, and now I'm going to be doing online shows all the way into 2023 from the studio where
Okay.
you see all my stuff. But but I can, and I actually get paid, and I found a way to get paid. So people say, well, you can't do nothing online. You can't get applause. It's like the system I'm working with, you can get applause. You can actually get the feedback. Um, you get people give you tips while you're playing. So you can find things. And the thing is, like, I've been dedicated. I've been doing online since 2016. Now the
Mhm.
world is to me because they actually came to me. They actually called me and had a conference call. This company, Sessions Live. They came and said they set up a Teams meeting, and they said, "Hey, we see you on the web all the time. You want to get paid for what you're doing?" I was like, "Yeah, okay. Well, you don't have to do like 15 minutes, and we can put you on these different shows, and you do 15 minutes a week, and you get paid." And I'm like, "Well, that's cool." I'm like,
Right.
that's a no brainer. I'm going to do that. So, things just happen because you were working. If you work on yourself, and I worked to get my gig right and my show set up so I could do it, then people came to me. The same thing happens
Uh-huh.
in your life with your relationship. You get a point, you get an opportunity.
Right. All right. I mean, yeah, and I've been working on myself for a very long time, especially once I started getting my act together, like in 2019, because I was a hot mess. I was all over the place. I was jeopardizing my life, not alone not my life, but also my three kids' life. I was jeopardizing their lives as well with the choices that I was making because I was living in society standards of thinking that, oh, I got to be with a man, and instead of this man loving me properly, he was um, running me into the ground. So
Mhm.
once I started getting confidence in myself, understanding who I am, what things I can have around me, and what things I can allow around me, I started getting away from that mantra of, you know what, I can't fix you. You have to be willing to fix yourself and work on you as a person. And then once you've done that, then maybe you can come into my space. But until then, this space right here is a drama free zone, and we building. So while you continue to keep out there and you doing drugs and you running women, you go figure that out, see where that leads you, because I know it didn't lead me
Yeah.
nowhere. So I know that in this life, my job was to be able to master focusing it on me, because I'm the type of person I am. I want to help save people. I do it a lot. Every now and then I get too far out there and I think about people, saving people, and I be like, no, that's not your job. Your job is to master you so that you can have a better life. So have to see. That's why I meditate a lot and I sit here and I have these conversations. Master you, Ikisha. Leave them people alone. They gonna figure it out. Master you at the end of the day. And I have to reel myself back in because I know my ideals, they can be far fetched. But I wanted to ask you a question. What do you think about
Hmm.
the Shaquela Robinson whole ordeal that's going on?
Is that the lady that's stuck in Russia?
No, I think that's her
Well,
name starts with an M. That's the girl who went on a trip with the friends who came up dead in Mexico.
oh, that one. I heard about that. It was like a Airbnb incident. It was
Yeah,
like she was
the
like
Airbnb.
found dead there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that has to do with like the dangerous nature of there's a whole thing with some of these modern companies like Uber and Airbnb where sometimes like they haven't done the background. information good enough, and then people are kind of put in danger. I don't know if that's the case here, but people have kind of used to come down on Lyft and Uber for not doing good background checks on the drivers, and a lot of
Mhm.
incidents happened where they had to like, tighten it up. And then like the whole thing with the Airbnb, people had to go with some of the landlords weren't being honest about the places they were, right? They acting like they're safer than they are, right? Not telling
Mhm.
people to be mindful because why would you want to go there if it's not in a safe place, right? So
Right.
there's some issues potentially with liability there. I'm not getting to lawsuits, but yeah, I mean, people have been going after some of these companies that grow really fast, and then do they have good security protocols for their customers? Do they
Mhm.
actually ensure that you're in a safe place? Okay, I mean, even anything can happen, but at least there's protocols. There's like stuff in place that there's a security system, there's cameras, there's all kinds of stuff. Like if you do these Airbnbs, are you going to need to make sure that each one of these places has cameras? They have security systems. They've got better locks. They've got better, control so people feel safe.
Yeah.
That's my.
Yeah,
But
they were saying it was the friends. She purchased the Airbnb for
they did.
her to have a vacation with the friends, and a video circulated with one of her friends jumping on her while the other one was recording. So they
Oh
said
wow!
her
So
closet.
they kind of tricked her. They tricked her with
Yeah,
it.
they tricked her. Yeah,
It was
so
like a
like on
setup.
the exactly. So like on the video, the person recorded talking about at least fight back, Shaquela, and you can hear her say, "No, I'm not." Which I thought was like really weird. Why would you not? Why would you sit there and let somebody just jump on you like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the situation there, but it is kind of like you
Hmm.
do kind of like a life lesson. You got to know who your friends are. And some
Yes.
people have friends around them, right? Because you go to a
Hmm.
party, a house party, and there's 50 people there. Not
Yeah.
everybody there is your friend, right?
No.
Just because you know them, you don't really know them. So would you go do something and go to Mexico with somebody you barely know, right? Just because
Yeah.
you met them, or even
Hmm.
if you know somebody, do you really know if they're talking about you or they're not talking about you or they have a hate for you? You never know. Sometimes people are really two faced. You got
They
people
are.
around you that are like jealous of you, right? And that
Exactly.
there was a situation where my wife used to say that they were girlfriends that would put other girlfriends in kind of rape situations, and these are other women,
Hmm.
right? Putting
Right.
their girlfriend into a situation with a guy that could sexually assault them. And not to put it on the women, but there were situations where these women know that this guy has this kind of problem. They go tell their girlfriend the guy has a problem. So that's like a combined problem. The guy is a jerk. The guy's a sex offender,
Hmm.
but the woman
Right.
is actually in by not telling her friend that the guy's dangerous. That in itself is like sisters ought to be protecting each other, not setting each other up. you know
I
that's
mean, I have been in a couple of those situations, and I mean, when I say recently, as of up to a year, me, I don't go out. I go out. It's every blue moon I go out. So I've been asked to come to parties, and my spirit told me, "Girl, don't even go." So I'm watching everything unfold on Facebook. I don't like what I see. I'm glad I didn't go. I didn't want to be a part of that. Even one time I'm sitting in the office with two ladies, and it's involving money that they owe me. One having a conversation talking about, look at this, and she's like, yeah, she in here trying to be our friend, which I'm when it comes to business, I'm nobody friend. At the end of the day, I'm strictly business. So the girl was like, well, throw the phone at her. So me, I got my head down, I'm minding my business, working. I'm like, okay, well, throw the phone. If you throw the phone, I'm gonna get you. So you know but nothing never happened. Both of the ladies had ran out of, both of the ladies ran out of the office and went to go do what they needed to go do. And it's just, I think it's more so, it's not that the fact that we're fighting people. We're fighting, pretty much, principalities, we fighting morals, we fighting, unseen forces, that the darkness that lives inside of people. And I think that, if you do what's right, and if you use proper discernment, and you don't put yourself in situations, and you don't we got to teach our women to fight back. you know don't sit there and just
Yeah,
take anything. Fight back,
yeah.
speak up for
You
yourself.
gotta take self
Right.
defense class. I think every woman, like my
Exactly.
daughter, like take a self defense class. Make sure you got mace or a taser or something that's legal. Not that you got to
Yeah.
check your local area, see what. But
Yeah.
people should always be you should be present. This is the one thing I always say is like in an age after 9/11, right?
Mhm.
In an age of COVID and all these things that can happen, right? It's probably not a good idea to get yourself so out of control that you have no idea what's going on around you, right? Which
No,
means you
it's
probably
not.
shouldn't get so high that other people got to take care of you, right? You probably shouldn't get so
You're
drunk
right.
that other people got to take care of you because once you put yourself in that situation, those people don't have to take care of you.
They
Those
don't.
people could actually attack you. They could take advantage of you. So putting
Exactly.
yourself in a situation where your mercy of other people's kindness is not very smart.
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
so
And
it's a lesson that you should actually be aware.
yep, and they do. They have it's one point in time women used to be for each other. Now you have a group of women that would try to get anything on you, to hold stuff over your head, to make you be in friendship with them, to make you work with them. And I mean, that's not fair. That's not freedom. That's not free will, free choice. And things like that will eventually come to an end, because that's not how God designed it. A person should be able to maneuver and do exactly what they need to do so that they can have the life that they want. And it's kind of bad how society is getting. It's, as women, it's bad that we have to fight our men, but we got to fight other women too for our freedom. I feel like that's too
I think you
much.
got to be aware of everybody. I think you have to make you have to take people kind of on a like show me. Like, you can't
Yeah.
just assume
Face
they because
value.
there's a sister there or a woman there or there's a guy there in a
Yeah.
three-piece suit that he is what he seems to be, right? The most
Right.
corporate looking, decent looking guy could be the most dangerous person in the room, right?
Exactly.
Then the person that looks more dangerous, they might be a puppy dog. There might be nothing wrong with them at all. They just like to
Mhm.
look like that. So the whole thing is like you got to really like be aware and have everybody makes assessment of what they see, but what
Right.
you see isn't always what you get. And then you got
Ex-
to let people show you. Like to me, it's
yeah.
through their actions, and they start doing stuff, and then they have a look that's very conservative, but then they do actions that's like that don't match what they look like. And that's like
No,
the first
they
thing that
don't.
starts to kick. You start seeing something that hey, that there's some kind of duality here,
Yeah.
and then that kind of give you an alarm bell that this person is exactly who they appear to be. There's like a mask, and I think you just everybody has a mask, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, right? And you just got
Yeah.
to be able to discern, like you said, you got to be able to discern, and you need to be present. You can't be
Yeah.
like in your head, and even if you're not drunk, you can't be like around and tweeting and so not aware that somebody could just
Right.
grab you because you're spending all
Yeah.
the time on your phone and you're not even present to know what's going on around you. You got to be aware.
You do. You have to solely be aware. And my thing is, why put on a mask? Be When you meet a person, be who you are. Be who you are. We all know is that if you mess over a person, that person likely to do you something. Not too many. I don't know too many people is that strong to walk away if you intentionally try to hurt or cause harm to this person. A lot of us is, you know, us as being humans, we say that you got to learn how to forgive people, but do we really know what forgiveness is? Are we really involved as people to really forgive people when they cause harm to you? And if the shoe was on the other foot, how would you, handle the situation if it was done to you? So, the whole thing, coming to people with a representative, coming to people with a mask, I'm so against that. Come to me as who you are. Show me who you are so I can deal with you accordingly. Because the minute you start switching up and I start seeing a whole different person, I'm not going to deal with you anyway. I'm not. I'm not.
Well, the
You
one
know,
the one thing I would say as a musician and a creative person in the art world, we create masks as like musicians because that's part of our act, right? So
yeah.
it's kind of like acting. Like a musician, they like I'm an electric ghost. What does that mean? But I'm on stage, like what you see from me is not exactly what you see right now, right? So I have a
Hmm.
stage persona. When I get into my music, it's not what you know. That's my and there's
Hmm.
like a separation between like Keith Gibbs Jones and Phantom Electric Ghost. Like Phantom Electric Ghost, the artist on stage, I do things kind of like the way Bowie or any artist would do with Lady Gaga. We put on a stage presence to be able to be on stage. Right? It ends up
Yeah.
being like a hyper version of ourselves or something different than ourselves. But that's what actors do. Musicians do it too. The thing is, do I bring that to my day or do I act like a different way? And I'm more like this is the non-actor, non-performance version of myself. But that's just knowing when you're an artist, you have that duality. That's what
Yeah.
happens in the art world. But it's a different thing. But we're aware of it. So
Yeah.
being aware is
Yeah.
one thing.
And me, I'm just me. Like, I really don't care what people. Me personally, I like I said on my podcast at Wisdom, I don't like people like that to cause issues or be extra with people. When I come out in public, I'm nice, I'm cordial. When I go home, I'm not bothered with people. So when it comes to why would I want to start mess with somebody, and I know that how mess it bleeds over into your personal life, it bleeds over to your home. Some people don't know how to let things go. That's not what I do because I genuinely don't like people like that. Do I have anything against people? No, but I'm nice, I'm cordial, I'm respectful, I help out in any way I can. But when I'm in my space, which is my house, which I don't allow people to come into, that's it. I don't want to hear nothing about the world when I come home into my house. And it's just some people just need that chaos. I know we have to put masks on in the world when we out here and we getting our money and we're doing this and we doing that, but it's just some people for whatever reason they can't be healed. They can't be right. They just like chaos. They just like drama. They just do the most. You can't be happy for somebody. You want to try to ruin somebody, or you want to start drama and start problems, or you just don't like that person for whatever reason. So you just gonna do whatever you feel to try to make that person life miserable because you're miserable. You know, I figured out a long time ago that I just stopped worrying about people and let everybody go through what they need to go through because I had to go through what I needed to go through to get to where I'm at today. And I'm glad and happy that I'm at a point to where I could just be honest. I don't sugarcoat nothing for nobody because I feel like we lie to each other too much. And that's why the world is going the way that it's going. I think if more people are more honest about who they are, what their intentions are, what they expect from people. Because see me, I tell people I'm not a team player. I'm not. And I'm not a team player in the sense of I'm not gonna come be on your team. I want my own team because I'm a boss. And the type of people that I want on my team, I want to be able to turn them into bosses. So the type of mindset I have, I can't be jealous of somebody because you might come to me, I might mentor you, and you might be a way better boss than I was. And I'm not gonna be jealous of you because you're a way better boss than me. I'm gonna be excited, and then I'm gonna have some type of fulfillment inside of myself because I trained you to be that person.
Hmm.
I'm looking at my protege, my work, and what you came out to be. So why would I try to destroy who you're gonna become? Because when
Yeah.
you're a good look for me. That's the type of person I am. That's what I'm on. And so I like to deal with those type of people who understand where I'm at and what I'm on, because if a lot of people don't wake up, our community, our black community, is gonna really not make it nowhere at the end of the day.
Well, I think the thing is like you get too many haters. The problem I see a lot of times is you get these people who are like I'm a producer, right? So I go
Mhm.
and basically a producer is like a mentor, so or a teacher.
Mhm.
So when I work with another artist, the whole point is that I'm not trying to be better than that artist. I'm trying to make that artist better, right?
Exactly.
My whole thing is actually working on a project and get an album. Their album may do better than any Fam Electric Ghost album, but that wasn't
Mhm.
the point. My point is like I don't want to make them do less well than me. I need them to do super well. I want them to do
Yeah.
be way better than me, right? Or get a better, bigger reach me. It's not the point. So the point is,
Mhm.
you get some people like, oh, they're a producer and need somebody into them. They
Yes.
think that everybody should be like them.
Right.
My whole strategy when I work with people is I try to turn them into the best version of themselves, right?
Exactly.
So if they have a demo, when I'm done, that demo sounds like what they wrote, but it sounds better. It's still their idea. It's not. It doesn't turn into a Phantom Electric Ghost album. It is still
Yeah.
their album. They actually get to sound better vocals, sound on the drums, better sound on all the stuff. That's what I bring to the table is to try to bring out the best performance that they can do and not try to turn them into Peg. Because
Right.
I'm already Peg. I don't need another copy of me.
Right. Right. And and it has people that's like that. Like I had listened to Mike Tyson podcast, and Mike Tyson, he's very honest. He said that he's not at that level to train people. People ask him why he don't train other boxers, because he said mentally
Mm,
he's not at that level to train other
to be able to
people,
do it.
but
Yeah.
he has a respect for Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd Mayweather
Mhm.
actually trained other boxers. And you just have to be able to have that strong enough mindset, is that if I get this person a game, I whether they do good or not, they most likely probably gonna do better than me. They gonna outshine me. But it's the fact that I have no attachment to that person's success. I look at the good side of that person's success. I trained them to be that person. So I don't hover no feelings. I'm not gonna get out
Mhm.
of character. I'm not gonna have, that evil thing which is called jealousy towards somebody that I took underneath my wings and mentored. And when it was time for them to lead a nest, they took the game and run with it. And I have dealt with that time and time
Well, so
again
yeah.
where, oh, I've dealt with that time and time again where, people claim they mentor me, but then in the same breath, you trying to sabotage me.
Yeah, that's a problem. I've run into that a lot, and I don't know why people, this is kind of like where Mike Tyson did a really good job there. He knew he couldn't do it. He knew that if he tried to
Exactly.
do it, he might do it. He might sabotage, right? So he knew himself well enough not to try to do it. The problem I have is a lot of people are not self-aware, right? A lot of people don't
No.
have any kind of idea of psychology or sociology. They don't understand it, right? And they
Mm-mm.
don't understand why they do things. And then they go and they sign up to be a mentor because maybe that's the cool thing to do, or
Mhm.
they want to be that person, but they never looked in the mirror to really see, are you a good teacher? Are you a good mentor? Or are you just going to
Mhm.
go and do this kind of really negative thing? And then you're going to run around telling everybody you're a mentor and you're just sabotaging people because
Right.
you really can't handle it. You're not in a position maturity wise or so psychologically wise to do it, but you want to
Yeah.
go and do it. You're out of your depth. So a lot of people they get out of their depth and they actually can get into it for a long time and then harm a lot of people because no one
Right.
ever calls them on it. No one ever, you know, says anything about it because, oh, well, they got a title on their name. And then
Yeah.
they're actually doing it wrong. And then, you know, and they're hurting people and then nobody deals with it because people don't want to be honest. It's like, you should be honest and tell us, like, you know, you're the worst mentor I've ever seen.
Right. And then you know what? People who want the mentorship, you gotta understand that a price comes with that half of the time because that person is taking time out of their day. So you gotta be willing to pay their fees. Don't go in there and act like
Hmm.
I didn't have people act like they was my friend. So when they got what
Hmm.
they needed from me, they tried to sabotage me in the process. So now I had to really back fully away from the table in the sense of everybody that I had around me, and God started showing me, oh no, get that person from around you, get this person from around you. You know what I'm saying? And it's no hard feelings. But if you want the mentorship, you got to be willing to pay for the mentorship. You got to be willing to be honest with people about what you're looking for and what you need out of it. And me, like I said, right now, I'm not even in the space of to even offer any mentorship because I'm in the process of rebuilding myself back up to where I need to be. So I don't even have the time to even give to other people right now. But when I did have it, it was underneath false pretenses. It wasn't honest and it wasn't upfront. And if all you wanted was game, I would have gave it to you. But you didn't have to come in my life underneath the pretenses of being a friend or being a lover or anything like that. You know, pretty much sitting underneath me, and you have the wrong motives at the end of the day. Instead of just asking me what you need, and I would have went and got you the information, because I have done it for so many people. I didn't have people hit me up, ask me for information, they from a whole nother city. I go and research it to them, and give it right back to them, and it was nothing attached to it. We all have the capability to go research. Now whether you have you know the brain power, the mental power to do it, that's on you at the end of the day. But I mean, it's nothing to pass on free information that is on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people, like I said, they get out of their depth or they want to be bigger than what they can be. Like, you
Yeah.
got to really know what you can do. Like, when I get into this music thing, right?
Hmm.
I could gear myself to try to be in the top 10. And then, you know, you can realize, I realize I can hit the top 10, right? But I still
Hmm.
want to be a musician. Now, I know a bunch of guys when I started, if they can't hit top 10, top 20, they just stopped, right? And I kept on going since I'm 17, I'm 55. Now, people
Hmm.
would say, well, what do you got? Well, I got 118,000 people listening to me on SoundCloud. Well, you know, you talk to one person and say, well, you need 2 million to make any money. So why don't you drop it?
Wow.
I didn't drop it because there's other stuff I can do, right? I got into podcasting. I got into sync licensing. I got into production with other people. So I can do things in my comfort zone as long as I don't overextend myself and try to, like, oh, I got to have a Bentley or I got to have this. I got to have that. You're going to the gun.
Yeah.
Just say, I'm going to do it so I love music and I'm going to do it because I love it. I'm not going to go do it because I'm chasing the dragon. I do it because I love it. And then things come to me because I love it.
Right.
So, you know,
I,
that's just a different
and I
mindset.
Yeah, and I don't think that's true. I don't think you need to have 2 million people, because when I first started podcasting, I started in 2019, and I just basically podcast about my life. Um, and I was having fun with it. I podcast about my life, and that's when Wisdom hit me up about they wanted me to be on there and stuff like that. I think it's more so people have to really find their voice and not try to be like everyone else or anything else. Find your voice, do what you love to do, and God has a way of taking you off and expanding that for you to to a different height, to a different level. Because when I started, I had a brief moment where I was doing what people wanted me to do, and that was take out my nose ring, talk a certain way, act a certain way. But that wasn't me. I'm more of free spirited hippie type of person, and I'm kind of like spiritual ratchet a little bit. because I'd rather speak on real life than to speak up on made up stuff, because it's same stuff, just different days for us. And it's more women like me that has my walk of somewhat, that needs to know some real stuff and how possibly they can maneuver to get out of certain situations, because I had a lot of unhappy days in my life, but because I tried to live in
Mm.
society's bubble, I was miserable. So now I'm at a point to where I'm not miserable. I'm happy, with where I'm at in life. Is nothing nobody really can say or do to phase me. I'm maneuvering out of a lot of issues, and God is increasing my territory, because instead of doing what people want me to do, I'm doing actually what Ikisha wants me to do, and I'm listening to what he's calling me to do. So it may not be, oh, well, if you believe in God, you got to conduct yourself this certain type of way. Well, that's not true, because Glorilla, she got fuck nigga free, and she's, God blessed her territory with the song fuck nigga free. So no, it's whatever he calls you to do. He gives people the gift, whether we considered it, I don't know what is of God, that we consider what is of God, because Jesus walked with the worst of the worst. So we
Well,
can't
that's the
say,
problem
well,
I'm
this is.
saying. Like a lot of you get some guys that are gonna try
Hmm.
to control a woman or other people, right, with their
Uh-huh.
own ideas, right? So if you have
Yeah.
your idea, right, and
Yeah.
somebody swears a lot, and you say, "Well, that's not godly," right? Or somebody wears certain clothes, and you say that's godly, or they go and they have a certain attitude, and you say that's not godly. Well, what does that have to do with you, right? Because if
Exactly.
you really go and check, Jesus, like you said, was hanging around with all kinds of people and he wasn't making these kind of judgments. What happened is the religion got in the hands of people, of human beings, and they started making moral judgments that are about like etiquette. Now, that etiquette really has nothing to do with the original idea of Christianity, right? These
No.
people have confused it and they
Hmm.
go around trying to tell people to behave, and it's none of their business. And so that's my whole thing is like, if you really think about it, right? And I
Hmm.
want to go, and this will get me in a little bit of trouble. My whole thing, this is with this, right? When we came from Africa, we weren't Christians. We got the religion of the master. So if you really want to think about where we came from and what's really up, it has nothing to do with that. So what you should understand is like you should really dive into where you actually came from, where your great forefathers, what they believed, and not what you were pushed into believing, right? And then
Right.
you just live a good life and understand what's right and what's wrong. And
Yeah.
that's probably an idea that I follow on Buddhist is laws and effect, which is very simple for anybody to understand. What you put out is what you get back. So if you do
Exactly.
something negative, you get negative back. It is a very
Hmm.
mathematical thing, and it's pretty much true. If you
Right.
put negative actions out, you will get negative actions back. You can go and try to put a lot of flowery language all over it. You can put all kinds of things all over it, all kinds of morals all over it. But if you do something on your high hat horse, telling somebody how to behave, and then that's negative,
Exactly.
you're not being godly being negative,
You're
right?
not.
You're being negative. So you're still putting the negativity out, and then you think you're not. That's my problem
Or
is people don't really know what they're doing because they don't even know the basis of why they even believe what they believe. Like,
exactly.
can you tell me, like, why do you believe what you believe? Do you know what your great grandparents believe? Do you know what your tribe from Africa, what they followed? Did you even care to try to figure it out? Right? So use your head a little bit more.
Yeah. And what I've learned in this healing process, when you start to heal yourself, God starts to give you more knowledge, especially more knowledge of self. So, I've been able to trace my heritage back. Was I proud of what I found out? No, because, a lot of people might look at it as far as being a witch or something like that. But that's where I came from. It and a lot of times, I think a lot of black people, why they get so connected to that Bible, because some of our religious views got put into that Bible as well. So that's another thing that they need to look at and pay attention and really study those books of the Bible that's not included in this Christianity Bible. And I don't, me personally, what I'm learning on my journey, it doesn't really matter where you came from. It really matters where you're going. And God has humbled me to the point to mind my business. What somebody else got going on in their life does not concern me and does not have nothing to do with me. And the more time that I focus on what somebody else got going on, it keeps me from who and where I need to be in life. So, a lot of people, I just disappeared. I disappeared because I had to focus on Ikisha, and with me focusing on Ikisha, and the small amount of time is why I've been able to just incline, the way that I've been inclining, because instead of me worrying, well, why she wear her hair like that, or why she did that, or why she did this, or why her kids like that, or this, that, and the third. Once I stop focusing on other people and put that focus in my house, look, my kids bad as hell. you know I have my own problems, I have my own addictions, my own issues. So you it's just it's really, it's working on the life that you see yourself having. And because I didn't know these things in my 20s, because I wasn't taught properly in my house, because of where I was raised in, and my mama, her, where her mind wasn't her issues, now I'm finally getting it as a 37-year-old woman. And it's time to cut out playing right now, so that I can chill when I get 40. I think by the time I'm 45, I'll be able to retire. So when I'm 45, I can go ahead and I'm serious. When I'm 45, close to 50, I'm retiring. I ain't got to worry about nobody. I ain't got to deal with people. I ain't got to be stressed out, you know, with the economy and how I'm gonna take care of things. I really get to chill between 45 and 50 and have the lifestyle that I want, because right now I'm sacrificing relationships. I'm sacrificing my body not being with somebody. I'm sacrificing friendships because I don't have friends, because I'm really focused on myself and what's inside my house, so I can see the rewards later in life. Um, because just honestly speaking, where I came from, it took my parents well off into their 60s to figure some things out. And that's not where I'm trying to be at in life.
Yeah, I understand that, but we're at the kind of close of what we can do with our distributors today. So I want
Yeah.
to thank you for being on the program. And yeah, we I always have a great talk. Here we have a little more limited time, but thank you again for being on the show. I hope you have a great day. Everybody, make sure they go to your website and maybe tell people a
Yes.
little bit about that before we leave.
Yes, please go to HeroTaxServices.com. My business is family owned and operated. I'm here in Alexandria, Louisiana. I can also do taxes virtually. I will be on my website. I will be dropping scan card, the scan bar for the actual app that I will be having, that you can download all your documents, and you can also chat with me through that app as well. So, thank you, and you have a good day.
Thank you and have a great day. We'll talk
All
again.
right.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
You're